Belief in the supernatural, especially gods, is one of the most obvious characteristics of religion, as said by Klein. I hope I can persuade you that the depiction of God as shown in Supernatural is one of the most accurate depictions of God. Now, the belief in God, as said in Christianity Today, is that 72% say that Jesus Christ was born in Bethlehem more than 2,000 years ago. 9% disagree, and 18% are unsure. With Christianity becoming one of the most widely practiced religions in the world, you may be wondering what God is really like. In Supernatural, God is depicted in more of a selfish, self-righteous, and childish views on the world around him. By the end of this, I hope to persuade you that this is an accurate depiction of a God, or at least that even though God is all-knowing, he's not perfect in any way. God is selfish, and I'm going to explain why. In Supernatural, many gods are introduced, and the notion that there is not just one true God is explicitly expressed. In the last season, it is revealed that God, who in the show likes to be chucked, made all of these gods out of spite. The lore is that whenever God made the earth and the people on the earth, the people were more inclined to believe in things like a sun god, a moon god, god of the seasons, because it was things they could see and things they could correlate closely together. And God was not happy about this. As said in Screen Rant, Chuck's solution was to create the old gods, which would serve a dual purpose. On one hand, the lesser deities could take the blame for mankind's hardships. This is trying to correlate to Jesus and how God gave up his son for the world's sins. Many would say this is selfless. Many would say that this is selfless because he gave up his only son to save the world for their sins. But you may think why this had to happen in the first place. If God is all-knowing and can do anything, why could he not just do this himself? Why did he have to have his only son die for people's sins? Is it because God needed to be recognized? It is because God needed to be recognized. During this time, there were not as many believers in the true God, and the other religions took the forefront. This is conveyed in Supernatural, and the question is always asked, if God was here all along, where has he been? If God was truly selfless, couldn't he cure hunger, homelessness, disease? But that is not the case, because God is truly selfish, as portrayed in the show, because how could someone who could do everything and anything watch as so many people struggle just to live? Now, self-righteousness is something we see in everyday life, and I believe God is self-righteous, mainly because he does things to make him seem more powerful, and that end up hurting people in the end, and he doesn't care. This can be shown through many examples in Supernatural. The main one is during season 12. God feels that he failed his creations of humans and decides to destroy everything and start anew. Does it sound familiar? This is referencing to the Bible as when God flooded the earth and killed everyone except for Noah, his family, and a couple few hundred animals. Just as shown in the show, God believes that he knows best, and even though that he failed before, that he can always start again and make the world better. As shown in the article by CBR, God describes his own self in the show as the tyrant who kills humans, unleashes monsters in the world just for fun. God can truly be self-righteous in the way that he believes that he can change everything and make it better, but cannot help the world that is already there. Leading back to the Bible, if the world was truly wicked when he flooded it and killed millions, could they have not been helped? Did he have to kill so many for the acts of so few? Now, you may be wondering what I mean by childish when I describe God, the one and only creator of the world. Many Christians use the argument that when you try to describe God with human attributes, it will never correlate because God is not human. In the last season of Supernatural, God is the big bad villain. He chooses to end the world fully and wants to travel to another universe, like said in the article by Cinema Blend. He ultimately revealed that he's been toying with them, the Winchesters, the main characters in the story, as the writer of their story all along. Rob Benedict's God going Old Testament and vengeful when he gets angry. This is a description of God that is what I would call childish. Like how God calls the flood the earth because there were so many wicked people and makes the Egyptians kill their firstborn son. This is all referenced in the Bible. God is righteous, but only when it benefits him or he believes he is right. As shown in the show and in the actual Bible, when God is feeling he is not getting his way, or he feels that people are not living up to his expectations that he set, he believes that he can just reset, start again, do a flood, kill a couple people, and this, to me, is seen as childish. Now finally, the whole purpose of this speech was to persuade you, the audience, that the way Supernatural portrays God is the most accurate. As I have said before, God is truly selfish, self-righteous, and holds childish views of the world around him. God is something that the large portion of the population believe in. God is known as benevolent and a leader who makes the world into his image. Many shows and movies try to explain God and his choices and try to justify what he believes in. I know my speech cannot just make you believe that God is truly all of these things I've said. But there's one question I will leave you with. If God is truly so wonderful and benevolent, why are so many people suffering in the world that he made? And wouldn't it be so easy for him to help everyone just at the snap of his fingers?